everyone. Sorry for the long delay in getting the next video out. Truth is, we've been really busy. We've been working on some development stuff, doing a small rewrite of the script. I've been doing some concept art to help flesh out the characters, the overall look of the film. We had to take some time to choose the principal cast, so that is done. That's really exciting. And we've been spending a lot of time just figuring out ways to get the word out, scheduling appearances at conventions and so forth, just to help gather more support so that we can finish production of this project. This is part 3 of the interview that I did with Chris Sullivan. And today is a little bit shorter video where we're just going to talk mostly about the script development, the character development, that sort of thing. I talk a little bit about my son Jonathan's contribution to this project, how he helped me write this project. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into it. I hope you enjoy part 3 of this interview.
Let's talk a little bit about that. We don't want to give anything away from the story.
No spoilers.
You gave
no
us
spoilers,
the synopsis, but can we talk just a little bit about the characters, but more specifically the names of some of the characters, whether they're characters that we see or don't see, but because being that this is a metaphor for Christian truths and a Christian reality, just like some of those other authors from the last century that we talked about, Tolkien and Lewis, and the way that they would, they created names. I think Lewis was probably a little bit more, they both had their ways of sort of creating the different sort of figures. I think in this story, it's a little more direct, but more like in an alternate world.
Right.
Like if it had been a world like that,
Yeah.
and if evil had just sort of completely taken over the world, almost like what's going on here, where, and I love that in the narration of the, of the trailer, these once great places and great cities and stuff, but now, all this corruption in the world has happened. And it's not that our world, the real world, that isn't corrupted anyways.
Right.
But it exemplifies that in there. Right. But the character names, I think it's a pretty unique way that you're doing it. And there's one character in particular that I'm thinking of, which is the villain character.
Sure.
But all the names like this are deliberate.
Yes.
And the way that, and you're not disguising or hiding anything, but you're doing it in a way so that we're not taking any, well, why don't you just explain it?
Sure.
Like the Hebrew,
the Hebrew words,
inspiration for some of the names of the characters in this.
Right.
So
I'll go ahead and just start though by explaining the name Andrew. All right, that's the main character, and I like the name Andrew. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It is from the Romanian for the word man. Okay, Andrew, Andro, which is sort of the Latin version. So hopefully you can kind of start to grasp where I'm going by just labeling him, man. All right. Probably the one that was hardest to come up with, and personally my favorite, is the name Psalmaveth. Okay, I love this word. It speaks volumes.
And tell us who Psalmaveth is.
Yeah, Psalmaveth is the villain. He is the arch enemy of Andrew, and he is this dark entity. I can't even remember because Jonathan wrote all this stuff. His title. He's got this big long title. You know how powerful figures love to have all these different titles to just prove how powerful he is. He's the keeper of the void. He's the 6th baron of the black keep. All of these titles. Jonathan, bless his heart, he came up with all of this and created such an interesting character. He is the guardian of the black keep. His name, Psalmaveth, is that's the Hebrew word for the death-like shadow. So when you read in the 23rd Psalm, when I walk through the valley, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Shadow of death, that's the word Psalmaveth. And he is, we're being metaphorical here. He is the embodiment of death, of darkness, more specifically, hopelessness, despair, depression, um, uh, unresolved grief. Okay. And so I picked his name to be very descriptive of who and what he is. Um, and then there are, two other names specifically or words that I do want to reference just because um, I think it's important that people do understand. Okay, this is a if you want to call it Christian film. I know sometimes you can get all kinds of baggage using the term Christian, but it is a Christian film in that it is a faith-focused film. It comes from a scriptural perspective. It's looking at these themes of death and revenge and redemption through a scriptural lens. And so I really did want to have reference in this film to God the Father, okay, and to Jesus specifically. But I didn't want to use those words. Guy Camara, thank you, Guy. He's a producer friend of mine. He's a mentor. He's guided me through the years to help bring me to this place where I feel I'm ready to make some films. He had this idea, he says, use lesser known names that reference those characters. And so I went on this journey to say, okay, I got to look up these different words. So I, did research on, old Hebrew names for God, and for God himself. I chose the word Elyon, which is God Most High. And it's a word that is perfectly descriptive of this God that I trust, that I believe in, and that I've committed my very existence to. And I just like that idea, the Most High God, the God above all else. And so I chose that phrase, Elyon, okay, or El Elyon sometimes as you hear it. And then I really struggled with what word to use for Jesus, to reference Jesus in this story. And it actually came to me because my wife, Lindsay, my beautiful new God is a God of second chance wife that I have now, she's been so supportive. I love her to death. And she was doing a study. And in that study, they were talking about the kinsman redeemer. And I love the whole concept of the kinsman redeemer.
From the story of Ruth.
From the story of Ruth.
So Boaz.
Boaz, coming in and fulfilling his responsibility in that role to come and protect and to redeem Ruth. That word, the Hebrew word for kinsman redeemer, is Goel. And so that's the name that I chose for Jesus. He's the one that steps in. He is my brother, my friend, Son of the Most High, who steps in and redeems all of us. And so I really, really like that term, that title. So you'll hear within the story, you'll hear the names of Elyon, and you'll hear Goel, and those are references to God, the Trinity, the God, and Goel, the Jesus, the kinsman redeemer.
So in this world, the Messiah has already come.
Yes.
The Son of God has already been revealed
Yes.
to mankind.
Yes. Yes.
But it's in an age when things are
Yeah.
like you said, more like an eschatological
Yeah.
type kind of
Yes.
setting,
Yeah. Very much.
end of the
Yeah.
world type kind of
Hmm.
setting, or at least a very dark time
Hmm.
for humanity.
Yeah.
And so all of this story has already been told and known, and
Hmm.
people have this opportunity.
Yes.
And this is just a man that's part of the faith system, but he
Hmm.
really hasn't
Yeah.
got to that
He's.
point of
Yeah.
truly believing
Right.
in this plan, this salvation
Hmm.
plan. So
Yeah.
he's,
Yeah.
and this is his journey on it. That's very cool.
Okay, so that concludes part 3 of my interview with Chris Sullivan. We're going to be coming out with part 4 here in the next couple of weeks, so please stay tuned. Until then, if you would, please be sure to visit our website. You can see the link there on the screen at thatwhichremainsmovie.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter and stay up to date with what's going on with the project. You can get connected with the various social media platforms there. So please like us, follow us, subscribe. Just help us get the word out. Follow us, support us. You can also go visit our crowdfunding platform at coffee.com. You can see, again, the link there. And go check that out. You can support this film for a single gift of as little as $3. Okay? And that $3 will get you all kinds of exclusive content, stuff that you're only going to be able to see through the Coffee website. So please go there, have a look, and prayerfully consider the kind of support that you would like to offer. We thank you again for taking the time to watch this video and just to become a part of our support system. So until next time, we just pray that God bless you. Please be good to one another, and we'll see you next time.